Well, good morning, grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Dezay, and today is Thursday, which means today we focus in on the Psalm. And today we're talking about the most popular Psalm of all time, and that is the 23rd Psalm. Now, as somebody who has read this in public gatherings, whether it be in a worship service or at a funeral, there is power in this Psalm. Something that's kind of undescribable, really, and you can't really put words to this idea, but when you read it, when it is heard within community, there is something powerful. You can see it on the look of people's faces, and people have hung on to this psalm. Many Christians have it memorized. It is a Jewish psalm. It is a Jewish prayer. Jesus would have prayed the psalm. There is beauty and power in the 23rd Psalm. So let's talk about context. This is a psalm of David, who was a shepherd. Right. So the shepherd is saying to the Lord, "You are the shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd." In other words, David realized that even though he was a shepherd, and it was a metaphor he understood for life, it was truly that the Lord is his shepherd. A few things about the word shepherd. A shepherd would have been a name given to kings and rulers within that world. So a king or a ruler would have been the shepherd for the people, and oftentimes that did not go well in Israel. And you can read that in the Old Testament, where they talked about kind of corrupt shepherds. Another idea that is in this, that is that Yahweh is given the title of shepherd by David. So he refers to him as the shepherd. This idea of Yahweh being a shepherd is very political, especially to the world's rulers who would have been considered a shepherd to their people. And David is saying, no, the Lord is my shepherd. And then the other thing is, it's interesting, and I just caught this today, it talks about a little bit later in the Psalm, your rod and your staff, you comfort me. Well, we know what a shepherd's staff is, and a rod, for a lot of scholars would say, is the scepter that the king would hold, which I thought was pretty interesting. The second thing that jumped out to me was, I shall not want. Now, in our world, that there's plenty, and we have so much at our fingertips, whether that is finances or resources or information, it's kind of hard to comprehend what I shall not want mean in an entitlement culture. We feel like we deserve, we feel like we have access to, we provide for ourselves. And in this particular passage, it communicates that the shepherd is the one who provides. And that, of course, gives the sheep an opportunity to trust in the shepherd for provision. So I shall not want is an interesting thing to consider personally in our culture today that has plenty. And what would it be like to live in a world in which the shepherd truly provided everything that we needed, and so that we didn't have a want? Interesting thought, isn't it? And then the third thing that jumped out to me was, again, in the third verse, where it says, "He leads us by green pastures and leads us to still waters, like makes me lie down green pastures, leads me to still waters." And for most people, they think of that particular phrase as peace and tranquility, which I believe is true. But also for sheep, green pastures would have been food, and still waters would have been drink. So again, there's this provision that keeps the sheep alive. And so the shepherd provides what is needed to keep the sheep alive. And then it goes on and talks about right paths, which could be communicated as shelter. And so the good shepherd is the provider for the sheep, and we're the sheep. So what does that look like in our life? Now, there's a lot more there. I only really focus on the first few verses, but the 4, 5, and 6 are some powerful stuff about the valley and anointing and the temple. And so, hey, read and let me know what you think. I'd love to share notes on this. So why don't you share your thoughts for today in the comments below. And hey, I'll be back tomorrow as we talk about the intersections for this week. Hopefully you're having a good week. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Grace and peace.